Well, guys, after a huge amount of requests and a great demand to know something about our most popular celebrity on YouTube, I have finally gotten a hold of, guess who? Mr. Kapiel Raaj. How are you? I am doing fantastic. Thank you. Good, good, good. So look, without wasting any time, people want to know is that how did you get started into the world of Vedic astrology? I mean, what was it that really got you started? Well, my initial entry into this world happened, during my downtime when my life wasn't doing so well, and I was making movies. I'm an actor and filmmaker originally. Okay, look, I think my audience would really want to know before we even talk about astrology is tell us about some of your movies, some of the projects that you worked on, and how you got started into this filmmaking thing. Well, yeah, I mean, I got started in filmmaking when I watched the trailer of Tom Cruise's movie Mission Impossible 2. When I watched that trailer of him climbing and hanging and the way it was edited, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And I'm a huge fan of Tom Cruise. So at the same time, I was like taking this editing class, video editing class. I was just taking it. But once I, duplicated that scene, I took my friend to a beach where they had that rocky scene, and then I made that and edited that with the music, and I saw the power of filmmaking. And after that, I just kind of went nuts. I made like 15, 16, 17, 18 short movies. I made 2 feature films, Hindi. Didn't go anywhere, probably because of my immaturity and in some cases running into wrong people. My very first producer, Mr. Suresh Chandana, he was a big help. He was like the very first guy who believed in me and who gave me the funds, gave me the resources to make my very first, Hindi film Anoka, which we're still trying to get it out there. If we get lucky, we will. But I ran into a lot of wrong people too. However, my producers like Sanjay Dhargavan and my producers like Suresh Chandna, these were the 2 of the best people I ever worked with. The whole team in these 2 projects of Anoka and LA Hit, really got me going. So I made a movie LA Hit in homage to Michael Mann. I'm a huge fan of Michael Mann and a huge fan of Tom Cruise. So when Tom Cruise came out with Collateral, I'm like, man, I gotta do something. So I made a mix of Heat and Collateral, which is on my channel. Actually, it's on your channel, KRS channel. Okay, so getting back to our subject with our audience, how was it that Vedic astrology became a huge part of your life, and how did you discover, some of these ins and outs and myths and misconception of astrology? So once I met this astrologer, Vedic astrologer, and I had no clue about that. I didn't have that much clue about Vedic astrology, but when he told me the things about my life that nobody else knew except either me or my immediate family, and he was telling me all of these things, and that's when I'm like, wow, I need to know what this is. I need to know what Vedic astrology is. So I just kind of like dove into this ocean of Vedic astrology. But yes, when it came to remedies, it didn't pan out as well. And I tried all sorts of remedies and from all these astrologers, because at that time I was in the real estate business when the real estate was booming. So I was making good money, and at that time I was able to experiment a lot by going to astrologers who were charging me $25 all the way to astrologers who were charging me $400 for consultation. And I did that, and in conclusion, I think it was pretty much just as good as the one that I paid $25 to. But hey, it was a good experimental thing, so I did that. However, one thing I realized is that they all told me to do certain remedies, either wearing gemstones or doing these awkward remedies of, donating beans like donating dal to somebody, putting some red cloth in my pocket. All of these things, especially they're known as the red book remedies. I did all these things, and I did them for over 6 years, and my life, and I'll tell you, As soon as I started doing these things, my life was already struggling, but then it just started going downhill, just kept going down. Now, please don't mind me asking, but how much exactly you ended up spending on, the remedies and all the things that, you did in this astrological research for the past 12 years? Well, it's over 10 to 15K, let's just say that. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, do you think you might have run into some, uneducated astrologers or, people who just didn't know what they were talking about and maybe they guided you? No. I went to some of the best astrologers in town. I went to those astrologers, you might have seen them on television. They market everywhere else that, hey, I'm coming, come see me. They have been practicing this 30, 40 years, so, it wasn't a joke. And plus, these guys knew what they were talking about. They predicted my stuff. They predicted things about me that only I or my family members knew of. So this is why I knew, okay, they're good. But when it came to remedies, it just I see. Didn't go so well there. I didn't get any result until I stopped doing all these things. Stopped, looking at my own chart, because I ran into a very spiritual person who's also an astrologer, and he kind of advised me about what happened when he was following astrology. Like, his life was going downhill. He was doing all the things he possibly could, and nothing was working out. And he found out through another guru. See, it's a chain event. So he found out through another guru that if you're not spiritually inclined, if you don't follow the right principle of being an astrologer, don't ever consult anybody. You can look at it, you can teach, but don't ever consult anybody. Don't ever look at your own chart as much. Don't ever look at your immediate family's chart as much, because it's just going to create, a backlash. Because when you look at that diagram of a Vedic astrological chart of your own or immediate family, it is a Masonic figure. It's a Masonic drawing. So when you look at it, the diagram, it affects you. And, I really do not know how to prove it if it's good or bad. I experienced it. That's how I know it's bad. Because I experienced the negative effect of looking at other people's chart. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you finally found out as to how Mr. Raj got started into this whole world of astrology and numerology. I hope this has given you some sort of satisfaction. I know I'm definitely satisfied because it was very hard to get a hold of him. So thank you, Kapiel, for being here and for our audience. And hopefully you're welcome. You're able to come back again so we can talk more in detail. I know you don't have time. You have to go don't worry about that. Your videos, I guess. Okay. Well, see you guys. Oh, we forgot to tell you guys something. You want to remind them? Oh yeah. Definitely subscribe above. Definitely subscribe above, guys, because we're going to be bringing you more of Vedic astrology. Bye-bye. See ya.